So you're thinking about getting a new home in Calgary. Well, it may sound very nice with new carpets, fresh paint, no scratches, nothing to repair, everything brand new, nobody slept in any of the rooms, etc., etc. Well, today we're here to talk to you about some of the pros and the cons when buying a new home in Calgary, as there are a lot of benefits, but there are also a lot of things that people don't think about when they're ready to buy a new home. So let's jump into it and go over the pros and cons of buying a new home in Calgary. All right, so first of all, let's talk about the pros of buying a new home. First things first, it is brand new. People love to live in something that nobody else has. People love new. You can walk right in. You've got everything brand new. The paint is brand new, the carpets, the appliances, everything. You don't have to make any renovations or changes because you can just move right in knowing everything is already done and completely ready to go.
Yeah, and a lot of people like going through that selection process where you get to choose your own countertops, your own appliances, the lights, carpets, all of that. If you enjoy doing all of that, that's I guess a plus. You get to move straight into a property that you have made all of the selections for. There's nothing else that you need to do.
The third point as a pro would be that you're going into a new community. There's going to be a chance to meet a lot of new people. Everybody's moving there together at the same time. So whether that be your neighbors or people you meet at the community center, or if it was a lake community at the lake, something like that. Most of these new communities, you're going to have lots of new people coming in, lots of opportunity for you to make friends with new people, as well as these communities are a little bit more family centered. Most of the time, families want to move into these communities. So it's a great chance for your kids if they're playing outside. They get to make new friends, meet new people. Same as if when they're building schools in these new communities and then they know where all their friends live, stuff like that. So that's really great about the new communities, is a sense of that community and kind of being involved with one another.
Yeah. The other thing, another positive about new home is the Alberta new home warranty. We like to make sure, we like to have warranties and guarantees on everything, and with new product or new homes, you get an Alberta new home warranty that if there was something major that goes wrong within the first 10 years, it's a staggered warranty program, but if anything does go wrong, the warranty is there to kind of protect the buyer. So you're buying a little bit of peace of mind as well.
We'll put a little link down in the description for you to check out the Alberta new home warranty if you're interested in reading all about that. We won't dive too much into it. And then the last point for a pro for buying a new home, you do get a little bit bigger house for your money, a little bit more bang for your buck in that sense, if that is what you're after, versus when you're more inner city or more established communities. Chances are the homes will cost a little bit more, especially when compared to the size. So because most of the new communities around Calgary are on the outskirts of Calgary, they're a little bit further out, you do get a bigger property for your money. So all of these are great reasons to consider buying a brand new home. However, we do have to look at the other half and what may be some negative consequences of buying a new home in Calgary. So let's take a look at the cons and jump into them right now.
So the number one reason or con, I guess, building new is that you can't lock in your interest rate. Some builders are taking anywhere from 12 to 24 months for a build, and there's no lender that will give you a rate hold for that long. Most rate holds are only about 120 days. So we don't know where the interest rates are going to be in 6 months, let alone 12 to 24 months. So chances are, in today's current climate, you're going to be paying a lot more your mortgage payments when that home is built than right now. So that means you're also going to have to re-qualify 12 to 24 months down the road, which depending on your job situation could be a very different situation than it is right now.
So a second con is going to be hidden clauses and the contracts that the builder offer you. So when you're buying a resale house, it's all the contracts are written on the same paper as monitored by the Alberta Real Estate Association, and that makes it fair and easy for everyone. Now the builder purchase contracts, although they may look similar, they have been drafted for the builder and they are in the best interest of the builder. So sometimes there can be hidden clause in that, whether that be passing on price increases or different payment options. So it's just something to keep in mind. Sometimes they're hidden really well. Some builders don't have any and they're very transparent. So it just depends. It's important just to see and make sure that you know who you're dealing with, because sometimes you can get caught up in hidden clauses, and whether that means you're spending extra money on small little fixes or on material costs going up, it's just important to know everything about the contract and just be aware of those hidden clauses. Additionally, builders will put in escalation clauses. So let's say, for example, that they believe when the home is complete, it's actually worth a little bit more. You may be required to pay that difference. So if you've signed on and you really wanted this brand new home for $500,000, but by the time it's completed in 16 to 24 months, they might say, well, now it's worth $600,000. So it's just something to keep in mind. They can put that in there and pass that cost along to you. The builders are always trying to make as much money as possible, obviously. So it's just something to think about, because you could end up, you pay for today's price and then you're actually buying it in the end at tomorrow's price. So it's a little risky. You can't be 100% sure on how much it is going to cost you. Because of these escalation terms, not everybody does it. Some will have in their contract that they won't, but again, it is just something to keep in mind.
Number 3 on our list today is the delays in materials and building costs. I'm sure we're all aware of the supply chain issues that are happening throughout the world right now, but it's also impacting our builders. So typical build time is about 8 to 12 months. That's getting stretched to a little bit longer right now, like we talked about in our first point. The second issue with that is the materials are increasing. Lumber prices are going up. Well, basically prices of everything is going up, whether it's electrical, conduit, all of that type of thing. And those prices will all get passed on to you as a buyer, like Nathaniel mentioned in our previous point. Those expenses, if the builder's going to incur those expenses, they're going to get passed on to you. And you had an interesting stat from Stats Canada on that.
Yeah, so the cost to actually build a new home in Alberta has risen from Q1 of 2021 to Q1 of 2022 has risen by over 30%. So what that means is it now costs 30% more to build a house than it did in the first quarter of 2021. This is actually the highest in all of Canada that has increased. So it's just something to keep in mind that since building costs have increased so much already, we don't really know what's going to be happening with supply chain in the future. If the builder is passing on these costs or the escalation clauses, as we were talking about, so that they can cover themselves, it's just important to keep in mind that it can become quite costly and you don't really know what you're paying for right off the bat. So it's just something to keep in mind with the builders. It's just a little bit more difficult than when you're buying a resale property, because you know it's at today's price, you're paying today's price, and you're going to have it within 30, 60, 90 days, whatever you decide. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're buying new. There are a lot of benefits. However, there are also a lot of other things that you just need to be aware of.
Yeah, the other thing that we wanted to add to that list is that a lot of people don't think about is the cost to fence your yard. If you've got kids, you've got dogs, you're going to incur a cost to fence your yard because the builder won't do that, as well as if you wanted to put sod in the backyard or finish a garage if it doesn't have a garage. So you've got those additional costs you may not be thinking about when you're all excited about looking through the show homes and looking through builders' plans and things like that. Those are just other additional costs that you need to be aware of as well.
All right, so the fourth and final con for us today is going to be the big bad tax man, and that is paying GST on a brand new home. So you do have to pay it on a brand new home because it's just like a brand new product. However, you do not have to pay it on resale properties. So what this means is builders will typically build it into the price. But let's say, for example, you're paying $630,000 for a home. You're actually getting a $600,000 home. So they always include it. However, it is going to be taken out of somewhere. So it's important to keep in mind, if you were spending an extra $30,000 to put in a basement, then you're going to be able to see that value back. Unfortunately, you'll never get it back on tax. And that just is what it is at the end of the day. So even if I know people that have been able to sell their home for what they would have been able to buy it for without GST, but they can never make their money back because of the GST. So it's just something to keep in mind that you are spending money on tax when buying a new home. They probably don't put that on after. They're going to include it in the price, and you will just think you're spending $630,000, so your house is worth $630,000. Well, really, you're getting a $600,000 home. So
basically, you're financing that GST payment as well. So
yeah.
So all of those things being considered, a new home may be the right thing for you if you wanted to be in a new neighborhood, new home, all of those things. We just wanted to draw your attention to, not just the positives, but the negatives so that you can make an informed decision on this as you go forward. If you have specific questions about neighborhoods, type of builders or type of neighborhoods, we'd be more than happy to have those conversations with you.
Absolutely. So yeah, feel free, reach out below. I'll leave our information right here, and down below you can just click a link, work with us. We'd be happy to answer any of your questions and maybe put together a little bit of a plan for getting you into a new build, or maybe after watching this video you've changed your mind and you want to get something resale. So whatever it may be, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you. And while you're here, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with everything happening in the Calgary real estate market. Until next time, I'm Nathaniel.
And I'm Graham.
See ya.